Hello everyone, it's your favorite night out here, out on this unfortunately sunny day, with this here motorized cart. Before we get started, like, share, and subscribe. We are not currently sponsored by any brand names that may or may not be mentioned or seen within this video. Fantastic! Now, the subject of today's video happens to be this here motorized cart, as previously mentioned. You've seen this briefly appeared in a previous video. In fact, I remember correctly, the immediate previous video to this one. Alrighty then, where I gave a brief overview where I feel what is wrong with it, which, thinking about it, is quite a bit. Now, one of the biggest issues we'll be facing, I brought some tools to assist. A little hatchet, a camp axe, and a little trenching shovel. Also, a measuring tape, which is going to become in handy. Because as we're going to start, I'm going to, from this side to this side, measure it, and I'm going to try to minimize how much brush I actually have to remove. Although I figure if I move this little battery-powered Jeep, fantastic. My younger sister quite enjoyed that thing when she was younger. Alrighty then. I was going to bring out my shovel. Well, that unfortunately met a rather tragic fate. A member of my family decided to borrow it in order to put in posts, and proceeded to break it during the process. And instead of replacing it, they bought themselves a new one and said because they're willing to loan it to me, that should be good enough. Well, I am not in a happy mood at the moment, and so I just grabbed this old trench shovel. Now, I believe there's enough space between there and there if I just move this to slip it between there. And we're going to have to remove some brush over here. But the main problem is going to be up over here. There's a lot of vines on the ground, so I apologize for any shaky cam, as this is all hand shot in, unfortunately, uneven ground. Going to have to move a lot of stuff. The previous owner left quite a bit of things outside. Now, after receiving permission from the property owner to come find this, which I assumed was in a different part of the property, so it took much longer to find it than was necessary, I discovered that it was going to be an easier task figuring out where it is than it will be getting it out, which I figured to begin with. The biggest issue that's going to be problematic is this here tree. Alrighty then. Because it's grown right up through the bars. And I'm not... Now, I did bring that small hatchet, but I probably need to go find a saw. I'm not too far away from where the rest of my tools are, so that shouldn't be too much trouble. But first, I'm going to clear some of the brush and clear some of the mess over there. Because I think the only thing I need to remove, if it pans out here, is this tree and one tree over there, and maybe not even that. We have to break out that measuring tape, clean up the mess a little, and should be able to get it out fantastically. Alrighty then. Fantastically, is that even a word? I do not think so. Making stuff up. It's a bit of a chilly day, fairly windy, so I apologize for any background noise. Although I do love the sound of crunching leaves beneath my feet during the fall. There's the twigs. Let's give a quick overview of what's probably wrong with it. Well, that should probably come after we somehow get it out, or at least clean up the area a fairly bit. Alrighty then. Be right back. Well, we back. And first problem. This tree gotta move. Unfortunately, I think it's the only thing holding the corner of that overhang. Luckily, I'm very near the opening. Alright. This mess is not too terribly much of a problem. That'd be easy to move. However, this tree is not. However, just used that word twice, needlessly, there is a solution which I am working on. You see, just that way is the path I took to get in here to begin with. And we are right by the destination. So it's a little extra way to go. However, I need to stop reusing that word. It is right here, as you can tell. Alrighty then. Got the tools. I brought out an air handler. Try to pump up these tires. The front two tires hold air. The back one has a leak to it, but still holds air for a decent period. And the right side rear tire doesn't really hold any air, as it's full of holes. We did find a number of the parts for it. Previous pool assembly. Found what was left at the top of that fuel tank. Fantastic. Move this. Probably want to take this out at some point. And let's move down to see what we've managed to accomplish. That was a handy-dandy little hatchet that I brought out. Came in handy, as did that Hudson Bay style axe. Let me grab that real quick. Now, downside of Hudson Bay style axes, I don't know if you can see this on camera. Oh, I guess you really can't. Is the way they're constructed, where it just kind of clamps down at the back there. Might be able to hear it. I'm not sure. Is essentially they come loose with extended use. Alrighty then. Moving on up, got to be careful. There is, as in the previous video, that tractor over there. But we've been able to clear this path fairly decently, so this should be finishing up fairly soon. I'm going to pull it out and try to take a closer look and bring out someone who knows a little bit more than me, although I do work on small engines a decent amount. Oh, that garage is not doing well either, that little shed. Alrighty then. It's only just moving through here now. Only a few small trees to go, and we're out into the main path and to the final goal. Fantastic. Hello everyone. We're back with the aforementioned motorized cart. Fantastic. Ready for a full-on inspection to see what need to be done. We found here its little antenna. It was all wrapped in a vine up on the tree, so that wasn't the most fun thing to pull on out. Obviously, there's going to need to be extensive engine work done. A new gas tank, got to get the engine's model number. Also, I'll check some Pick and Pool and other places to see if I can find deals on parts. Fantastic. We cleaned it up just a little. Now this tire, the back right tire, is definitely going to need replaced. But I think I can just do that with like an average tractor tire. Fantastic. This one still has a leak in it, so it must also be replaced. Moving on up, check on the inside. We have here, the upholstery will need to be completely redone. However, the floorboard has survived intact. Well, the metal one. There was a bit of a wooden one underneath the seats that is non-existent. How unfortunate. Found one of the covers right down here. And we found most of the parts. One of the tire rods is bent. In fact, I think it only has one long tire rod, and it is definitely bent. I don't know if you can see that in camera. Just got to get a closer look. Try cleaning this up a little. Yeah, it's definitely bent down there. So that's going to need replaced. These are simple spring shocks, so I should just be able to clean everything up all nice and pretty. Alrighty then. In fact, I first took notice, based on the way the wheels looked up front, there's definitely a bit of dry rot going on with the front right tire. And the steering is currently seized. You can't really move that at all. Other than that, the frame looks pretty much intact. There's a bit of rust here and there, like down in there. Let's move on around here. Found its previous pull assembly. Up here, the frame, all the welds seem intact. That's good. So, stripping this down won't be too particularly difficult. Did find a tool buried under it. Needle nose pliers. And, well, the tires they were pretty locked up, but we were able to get those free. So we were able to roll it out. I did end up needing help, but we were able to get it to the main path, out around, and then back to here. Fantastic. The belt seems fine. Bit of a chill in the morning. Alrighty then. But what I'm figuring what we'll start with is completely ripping down that engine once the project gets going, all the way down to the piston. Now, I found something on that said 60 horsepower, and I happen to have a tractor engine around of similar give. So, fantastic. So I might have a solution if I just need to outright replace it, if it'll work. No guarantees, but might need to find this exact engine. But I'm sure I'd figure something out. The upholstery does need replaced, as previously stated, and I do know my way around leather, so might do that, might do something simpler. Just get some water-resistant fabric, because this is a mostly outdoor thing, and maybe put some meshing, I don't know what everyone thinks about that, around this, in order to keep the bugs out. While driving, fantastic. But that would be adding weight to it, and there's like one attachment point on the other side, which I have no idea, can't remember what they were for, if they was ever attached to begin with. So, first things first, going to start with the engine, start ripping that apart at some point. Then we're going to be moving on to steering assembly and getting that unseized. Got to replace the tire rods, and I will be checking local pick and pulls and the like. And probably could, considering the fact that this is a fairly small engine, probably check the various tractors around for parts that would work. Alrighty then. Going to strip down the body in order to repaint it. That should look fantastic. In fact, that's probably going to be the easiest part of this project. Now, it was particularly agitating to get this out, but we were dragging it a decent ways through the woods, so with no ability to steer. Not particularly fun, but worth it in the end, I believe, and I think the owner is going to be rather thrilled with the finished product. Absolutely fantastic. They left an absolute mess around. Alright. So, I would like to move this to my shop, but it's currently filled with wood for wood projects, so I'm going to have to make some room there or finish some projects. Alrighty then, I'd like to thank everyone for their time. Like, share, and subscribe. And I do appreciate everyone who sticks around to the end. Alrighty then. See everyone around.